I slept with my daughter's ex-boyfriend. He got me pregnant, and I had an abortion. They got back together and got married. Remorse, this was back in, let me think, maybe 1997. I was 38 and my daughter was 18, and she was dating Harry, who was 24. I was an alcoholic and dabbled in other drugs, mostly cocaine. I was not a good person, let alone mother. Not like I was abusive to my daughter or anything, but I was generally inattentive and cared more about my alcohol and drugs than her, especially in her teen years. I am 14 years sober now. I disapproved of my daughter dating Harry, but I never told her why. He would flirt with me constantly. And the age difference also creeped me out. Also, he was an alcoholic and drug user, just like me. She broke up with him over his alcoholism soon after she moved away. Not too far, but regardless, she didn't live with me anymore. Harry kept calling me and asking if we wanted to get drinks. I turned him down, but then one day he said he had a bunch of coke and I couldn't resist. He came over, we did the coke, and we ended up having sex. He was a very good-looking guy. He looked a lot like that ridiculous 80s Justin Bieber picture that was on the front page today. That is actually what made me think about him. For the next few months, maybe like 3 to 4 months, he would sometimes come over and we would have sex and do drugs and get drunk together. Any drug addict knows what that is like to have a drug addict buddy in that way. Then I got pregnant. I knew it was by him. I had sex without a condom a few times, stupidly. I never told him I was pregnant, and I went and got the abortion and kept it a secret. Anyways, I stopped seeing him after that. It was too weird. I also got sober for like 4 months before relapsing. Fast forward 2 years and my daughter contacts me and tells me that she got back with Harry and that he is fully sober. I was mortified, honestly. He was going to tell her that we slept together and she is going to hate me for life. They came over one day and said hi. And when my daughter was gone, Harry told me that there is no reason to tell her about what happened. I agreed. It's been 16 years of marriage on their part. They have a kid together. Harry got cancer, then beat it. I got sober. That's basically it. I don't see them very often. They live in Texas and I live on the East Coast. But whenever I do, there is always that tension between me and Harry. It's literally the first thing that comes to either of our minds. I can just tell. Not like sexual tension, like, why did we have to do that? What the fuck is wrong with us? Kind of tension. I think about this often, especially when I see my grandson. I always think that could have been my son if things had gone differently. But wow, that was one hell of confession. Let's hear what Redditors have to say. User, that annoying rich kid. Firstly, what the fuck? Secondly, what the fuck? Thirdly, this is why I'm on this subreddit. User, violator, and this is the reason I come here. God damn, user firepower. These people could be almost anyone you see. On the street that you don't know. Anyone could be walking around with this kind of history. You see some basic dad with his kids and wife and her mom doing some touristy stuff. But inside that guy's head is the memory of doing tons of drugs and fucking his mother-in-law. Inside the mother-in-law's head is the pregnancy and abortion. Fascinating. User Bovini Queefeeder. Now this is a confession. I'm so sick of the confessions about sneaking cookies in the closet or farting on my girlfriend's back when she sleeps. Fucking your kid's partner and getting their abortion. Wow. User Pelagian Empiricist. The best part was, I was grossed out by their 6-year age difference even though I banged him despite being 14 years. His senior, and also the mother of his girlfriend. Op still has some honest talks left to have with herself, in my opinion. User Dump Account Bulls. This is the shit that has me unable to trust a single soul. 16 years of marriage and he hasn't told her. She's living in a sham, happy or not, it's fake, and that's my biggest freaking fear. Edit fuck. It would ruin her life to tell her now. Her life is a fucking lie. She could have a chance to actually be with someone who won't lie and hide shit. Divorce isn't the end of the world, but life's too short to live in some fucking fantasy land. If her daughter would rather live in fantasy land, then I'm sure she will find a way to ignore it, since she's obviously been through mental abuse for a long fucking time. User Peacher Perfect. I feel bad for your daughter, honestly. I know what she isn't aware of can't hurt her, but the very possibility that this truth can get her to be devastated to a point of severe depression is what's bothering me, especially now that it's been so many years and they have a child together. It's easy for me to say, but if I were you, I'd have probably confessed to her about my time with her boyfriend right when she'd tell me about her patch-up. As a parent, You could have tried to ditch your fear of judgment from her, or the fear of acquiring her hatred, and instead given her the opportunity to make a choice and choose a relationship where she wouldn't be living oblivious to dirty secrets all her life. User Andy, when you see them, try to live in the moment and not concentrate on the past. It's behind you. When living the life of partying, we all did things we regret, really regretful things, but we have to accept that was all part of the addiction or lifestyle. Hold our heads up and move on. Congrats on your sobriety. You're Charlie 2 Brown. Why is everyone just okay with her not telling her daughter? You let her marry a straight dirtbag. This dude propositions his ex-girlfriend's mom after a breakup and eventually had sex with her. SMH. Whatever, I guess. Hopefully there's no secrets like this with me involved. LOL, FML. Great confession though. LOL. I love this sub. Deleted user. I'm an inattentive, alcoholic, drug-using parent that fucked my daughter's ex. But I wasn't really abusive or anything. Really? What do you think abuse is? Because neglect is a thing. Edit, stop congratulating this woman. She made the goddamn choice to have unprotected sex with a much younger man who she disapproved of, who is absolutely a scumbag. He's an alcoholic drug user that seduced his girlfriend's mom using cocaine. What more evidence do you need? And you let your daughter marry that type of man. All because I didn't want her to hate me. Selfishness to the extreme. User Ganondorf. If drugs and alcohol are good reasons why parents can fuck with their children's life partner, then they should be banned. A bad decision is a bad decision. People here are making excuses and giving others a reason to consider similar actions because it's the lifestyle and addiction, so it's okay, and down the road it won't be a big deal. A few petty fucks, right? Deleted user, you're fucking disgusting. Your daughter deserves better than you and her scummy husband. But thank fuck you had an abortion, so you only have to be a shite mother to one child. How much do we get to blame on the drugs? If she had ran over someone and did a hit and run because she was high, would you chalk it up to blame the drugs and take no personal responsibility for you being a shit-tier mom? If she needs absolution, she can find a priest. Clearly, there are more character flaws here than just a drug habit. User Shagdocious. Your daughter would be completely destroyed if she ever found out really fucked up thing to do. You should just get out of her life. Eventually, it will come up and destroy her new family. And marriage, yeah, drugs make you do stupid shit, but it's not the drug's fault, it's your fault for doing it. User Lele Gerbears. You need to be honest with her. If this ever comes out, you will ruin her life. She will lose her husband, who she has a kid with, and her mother. The two people she is supposed to be able to trust most are blatantly keeping a secret from her. You are essentially lying to her and setting her and your grandkid up for unfathomable emotional turmoil. You said you weren't abusive, yet this is extremely abusive. I'm so glad I can say I'm not related to someone who still, although sober, only has their own self-interests in mind. Your daughter deserves the truth, and you both deserve the consequences.